Good morning. My name is First Lieutenant Stephen Tyler, and today we'll be discussing the Dismounted Infantry Reconnaissance Troop, also known as a C Troop or Charlie Troop, in the Cavalry Squadron of the Infantry Brigade Combat Team. The United States Army fights in self-contained units called Brigade Combat Teams, or BCTs. The BCT was designed to hold inside of one unit all of the combat power, support, and logistics necessary to fight and to sustain a fight. All BCTs include maneuver, which is the Army term for combat units, field artillery, intelligence, signal, engineer, sustainment, and CBRN, or chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear capabilities. These capabilities differ in their composition of magnitude based on the BCT and the mission of that BCT, and can be augmented by attaching other units and supported by other Army organizations, such as Army Aviation, which will usually be provided by Combat Aviation Brigade. There are three types of BCTs: Armored Brigade Combat Teams, or ABCTs, Stryker Brigade Combat Teams, or SBCTs, and Infantry Brigade Combat Teams, or IBCTs. The ABCT is equipped with primarily heavy tanks and Bradley fighting vehicles and is optimal for unrestricted terrain with long lines of sight that maximize the tank's long-range capabilities. While they require extensive logistical support and are slower to deploy, ABCTs provide enormous combat power. The SBCT is equipped with wheeled vehicles called Strykers that carry mounted infantrymen. SBCT units operate effectively in most terrain and weather conditions due to their rapid strategic deployability and mobility. SBCTs can mobilize quickly and seize objectives early due to their wheeled platforms. Finally, IBCT is an expeditionary combat arms formation optimized for dismounted operations in complex terrain, a geographical area consisting of an urban center larger than a village and/or of two or more types of restricted terrain or environmental conditions occupying the same space, essentially difficult spaces to get vehicles into. IBCTs have less combat power than ABCTs or SBCTs, but can operate in complex and severely restricted terrain, which would be impassable for SBCT or ABCT units. 25th Infantry Division, stationed at Schofield Barracks, Hawaii, has two IBCTs: 2nd IBCT, Warrior Brigade, and 3rd IBCT, Bronco Brigade. The IBCT is broken down into several battalions. It has an organizational chart that looks like this. For reference, these are the infantry battalions, this is the field artillery battalion, this is the cavalry squadron. The cavalry squadron in an IBCT is composed of two mounted troops, Alpha and Bravo, the dismounted troop, Charlie Troop, a support troop, Delta Troop, and a higher headquarters troop, referred to as HHT. The cavalry squadron is tasked with reconnaissance and security operations for the brigade, as the brigade conducts offense-defense operations. These operations are enabled and supported by the efforts of the cavalry squadron to answer the brigade commander's information requirements. The cavalry serves as the eyes and ears of the brigade commander, and the information that they collect, when transformed into intelligence by the intelligence shop, determines the course of action the brigade commander will adopt in employing his infantry battalions. This box represents the Dismounted Infantry Reconnaissance Troop, or C Troop. The other battalions are for engineers, military police, and other support elements, which ensure that the maneuver forces, the infantry and the cavalry, as well as the fires, the field artillery, have the resources needed to fight. Additionally, for reasons beyond the scope of this brief, the C Troop is composed of 11 Bravo infantry scouts instead of 19 Delta cavalry scouts. Here is an example developed by the command group of 2nd Squadron, 14th Cavalry Regiment, the Cavalry Squadron for 2nd IBCT, 25th Infantry Division, of the employment of the Cavalry Squadron. In this example, the enemy is concentrated at two objectives, Objective Kings and Objective Canucks, on the far left side of the screen. These objectives are currently 48 hours from being assaulted, as indicated by the H-48 at the top of the screen. Artillery targets are templated on top of these objectives to be used before, during, and if necessary, after the assault, depending on the brigade commander's objective. These targets are labeled Alpha Bravo 001, Alpha Bravo 002, and so on. On the far right of the screen, you can see two infantry battalions, in this case, 1st Battalion, 21st Infantry Regiment, and 1st Battalion, 27th Infantry Regiment, the two battalions that compose the active duty infantry battalions of 2nd IBCT, 25th ID. These will be the elements to actually carry out the assault. Between them is the positional artillery area in which the artillery battalion is located and from which fire support is provided. To their left, close to the objective, is the Cavalry Squadron, HHT, and Delta Troop. Delta Troop will also be moving forward and back to resupply the units farther forward in the area. The two mounted troops circle here. In this example, the mounted troops are conducting a zone reconnaissance between the C Troop and the main body. Zone reconnaissance is a multi-purpose mission, but in this case is most likely aimed at locating routes for the infantry battalions to follow to the objective and ensuring that there is no enemy presence in the area in order to protect friendly units. Still close to the objective is the farthest forward conventional unit, the C Troop. The C Troop is conducting a threat-focused area reconnaissance of the objectives, 1 platoon per objective. The small triangles by the objective are friendly, that is American, observation posts, manned by members of the C Troop. In our current configuration, we have 2 teams of 8 per platoon, each of which is trained and equipped to conduct short and long-duration reconnaissance and surveillance. In this example, since the C Troop is already in position 48 hours ahead of the assault, the mission will almost certainly be long-duration surveillance, with teams operating off of a surveillance site, hide site concept. The information provided by the C Troop will dictate the assault plans made by the brigade commander for his infantry battalions, and the information gathered by the A and B troops will enable the infantry battalions to reach the objective without breaking their tempo or risking ambush on the way to the assault. Together, these troops, supported by Delta Troop and HHT, enable the squadron to provide the brigade commander with timely, accurate information to support his decision-making process. The C Troop is unique in the IBCT as the only dismounted reconnaissance unit in the cavalry squadron, and the only dismounted reconnaissance unit in the brigade that is explicitly threat-focused. C Troops are best employed for very low-profile, long-distance, long-duration reconnaissance missions requiring minimal support. This is a good point to stop and have a motivational picture. Nice. The C Troop structure includes 2 scout platoons and a headquarters platoon, which is broken down into 2 sections, a sniper section and a mortar section. The sniper section has 2 sniper teams, and the mortar section has 2 60mm mortars, which are main portable. The scout platoons, doctrinally, are composed of 3 8-man teams and a headquarters element, as shown here. The scout platoon, per ATP 3-20.98, is composed of 3 8-man reconnaissance teams and 1 4-man headquarters element. The IBCT dismounted scout platoon has the following capabilities. They can operate centralized or decentralized as 3 independent squads. They can conduct stealthy reconnaissance and security tasks, provide all-weather, continuous, accurate, and timely reconnaissance and security in complex, close, restrictive, and urban terrain, conduct ground, water, and air insertion, and conduct multiple reconnaissance and security tasks, area, zone, and route reconnaissance in complex terrain. The IBCT Scout Platoon has the following limitations. Limited mounted capability, requiring augmentation of mobility platforms for rapid movement. They depend on the use of stealth, cover, and concealment for their dismounted patrolling skills to remain undetected. They have limited direct fire standoff, lethality, and survivability. They require additional planning and employment time to reduce risk due to limited protection. Equipment and supplies are limited only to what the platoon can manpack or cache dismounted, and any digital tactical intranet systems are available only in vehicles. Again, doctrinally, the scout platoon looks like this. However, given current manning, our dismounted platoons actually look more like this. We currently run 2 8-man teams and a 2-man headquarters element consisting of platoon leader and platoon sergeant. Oftentimes, we'll have an attached medic and forward observer, which are not shown here. A team follows this composition, but in our troop to add more lethality by providing 1 scout observer or an SO with an M249 rifle, we increase the ability of the squad to take direct fire contact. We also specify the point man by designating the senior SO in the team as the SSO, or Senior Scout Observer, and we designate the Assistant Team Leader's RTO as the Assistant RTO, or ARTO. Each man in the team is responsible for a specific weapon system, sensor, and role in the team. While we train for redundancy within the team and can always make do with reduced numbers, each member of the team adds additional lethality and capability to the unit. The duties and responsibilities of each member of the team include, but are not limited to the following. First, the SSO is responsible for route selection and land navigation. He will conduct the leader's recon of the objective and the ORP, is responsible for frontal security, ensures that rally points are designated during movement, and is responsible for maintenance of the surveillance log. The Squad Automatic Rifleman, or SAW, is responsible for immediate suppression of targets to the 12 o'clock and provides automatic rifle fires as directed by his leadership. The team leader, third in the stack, is responsible for the accomplishment of the mission and everything the team does and does not do. He will conduct the leader's reconnaissance for the ORP, the objective, and any patrol bases. He ensures that the route and pace are correct. He is responsible for accountability. He controls the CCP designated in the release point, and he controls flank security elements at linear danger areas. The RTO, or radio telephone operator, calls in all SITREPs and code words when applicable. He maintains a copy of the signal operating instructions, or SOI, and he records all information transmitted on the net. The ARTO, or assistant radio telephone operator, maintains communication between the surveillance and hide site and is responsible for the maintenance of the team's communications equipment. The scout observers are responsible for local security and following any other directions of their leadership. Finally, the assistant team leader is responsible for rear security and counter tracking, and he is responsible for accountability and CASEVAC and medevac, as well as for command and control of the team. As a side note, this dismounted infantry reconnaissance team is portrayed in file formation, which maximizes speed and control while moving through severely restricted terrain. This is the most common formation for dismounted reconnaissance teams to follow, given that they are tailor-made to operate in severely restricted terrain. Reconnaissance teams are multifunctional assets and can be employed in a variety of ways. However, they are best employed using the following 5 allocations. For reconnaissance missions, the team can execute 3 missions: a Ranger area reconnaissance of a single NAI, or named area of interest, as taught in U.S. Army Ranger School, a cavalry area reconnaissance of 2 NAIs, as taught in the Army Scout Leaders course, formerly the Army Reconnaissance course, or a long-duration area surveillance of a single NAI, as taught in the Army Reconnaissance and Surveillance Leaders course, or ARSLIC. The Ranger Area Reconnaissance is suitable for short-duration missions that involve a single NAI and emphasizes the use of a support by fire and a dedicated mission command element. It is not suitable for long-duration missions or for missions which require more than one NAI to be reconnoitered. The Cavalry Area Reconnaissance is suitable for short-duration missions that involve 1 or 2 NAIs and emphasizes mobility and avoiding enemy direct fire contact. Cavalry area reconnaissances are suitable for short-duration missions of more than 1 NAI. In the case of a single NAI, the Ranger Reconnaissance provides better control and security. The area surveillance mission is still doctrinally an area reconnaissance, but whereas reconnaissance is active and emphasizes movement to gain and maintain contact, surveillance is passive and emphasizes gaining excellent position to allow the information to present itself to the observer. The area surveillance mission involves a separate hide and surveillance site and emphasizes concealment, deliberate information collection, and potentially transmitting both imagery and text-based reports to higher headquarters. It is best used for stationary reconnaissance objectives over prolonged periods of time that are high-priority targets for brigade or higher echelons. For security missions, the dismounted reconnaissance team is equipped to execute a short-duration screen of less than 12 hours with 2 4-man observation posts, or OPs. The team can also execute a long-duration screen of more than 12 hours with a disposition similar to that of an area surveillance, utilizing a hide and a surveillance site. Of note, per ATP 3-20.98, short-duration missions involve less than 12 hours occupying an OP, whereas long-duration missions involve occupying an OP for over 12 hours. Both the hide site and surveillance site are types of OPs. In conclusion, this brief has addressed the types of brigade combat teams, the composition of an infantry brigade combat team, an example framework for the employment of an IBCT cavalry squadron enabling a brigade attack on 2 objectives, the composition capabilities and limitations of the dismounted infantry reconnaissance troop, also called the C Troop, the composition of the dismounted infantry reconnaissance platoon, and the composition of the dismounted infantry reconnaissance team, the duties and responsibilities of its members, and its capabilities. For more information, these publications were used in building this brief. These resources are available on the website of the Army Publication Directorate. For questions regarding this video, please email CharlieTroopTactics@outlook.com.